Five Out Basketball, five segments, five takes. This is the podcast for NBA conversations. This is Five Out Basketball, and it starts in 3, 2, 1.
It's fun to just reminisce. I love reminiscing. Back on the good old days when we weren't old men that are 21 years old. Like, back when we were old. Me and Everton, we are NBA draft enjoyers. His Thunder were sometimes in the lottery. I've always been in the lottery. So, this is like my NBA championship as a Bulls fan. But we
Yeah.
are going to look at NBA drafts in the past, and we are going to look at some people that surprised us, people that disappointed us. It's going to be emotions all over the place. We did the past 5 years before. Now we're going to go another 5 years back, and I'm excited, Everton. This is so much fun. Thank you for this
Yeah.
idea.
Of course, bro. I've been in tune with the draft for a minute now, so it's fun to look back on what guys were supposed to be and what they ended up being.
So let's go. And we're going to go to 2018.
Okay.
2018, I think it's a pretty obvious exceeded for me, especially with him being arguably my favorite player is not on the Bulls, and that's Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson, a second-round pick, midget out of Villanova. Yeah, he was getting points, but he couldn't distribute the ball or anything. He wasn't as muscular as he is now. It's like, oh, it's just a second-round pick. What's he gonna do? Surely he can't be an MVP candidate when he leaves Luka Doncic and goes to New York. Look where he is now. He's just an incredible player. His three-point shot has also taken strides since he was at Villanova. He's just improved everywhere. Such a fun player, and
Yeah.
I would never have thought of him being that caliber of player.
Yeah.
And when he was on but when he was on Villanova, that was a Villanova super team too.
Oh
He
yeah.
wasn't even looking like the guy on Villanova, but now he's
Mhm.
arguably one of the best players in the NBA.
Yeah. So I knew you'd pick Jalen, to be honest. I already knew that. So I was like, let me just pick somebody else just because I know you're gonna pick Jalen Brunson. And I picked SGA. Now,
Yeah.
the reason why I picked him, it was between him and Mikal Bridges.
Mhm.
I picked SGA because he was picked 11th and he wasn't seen as a guy who could become a potential MVP candidate. He was just seen as another one of those Kentucky guards who could become good.
Mhm.
And his ceiling wasn't that high, but seeing where he's at now, overachieved. But I think Mikal might even be bigger because Mikal was seen as 3 and D,
Yeah.
right? That's all he was going to be able to do. And he was doing that. But then he got to Brooklyn and it was like, whoa, Mikal
Yeah.
has a bag. Now
Yeah.
he's been kind of this year, but he's definitely shown that he has an ability to actually shot create. So that one kind of surprised me too.
Yeah, it's a great shout. It's what Brooklyn does to a man, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Wouldn't send my worst enemy to Brooklyn. I'm sorry for Mikal Bridges. Hopefully they'll free him of his shackles and he be a legit 2 or 3 guy in the championship team.
They could have during the trade deadline. I don't even know why they held on, but
They could have gotten 5 first round. I'm happy taking 5 first round picks from Mikal, bro. But now for our disappointments, and you get a lot of these as a Bulls fan in recent years. I thought Chandler Hutchinson was gonna be such a fun 3-point shooter for the Bulls.
Oh
I never thought he was gonna
man.
be like an all-star or nothing, but his Boise State highlights, that guy could chuck it from three, and he wasn't underrated. He wasn't incredible, but he was an underrated defender. It was a perfect wing player the Bulls needed. No, it wasn't. I was wrong. I shouldn't be an NBA scout. Chandler Hutchinson, he crapped the bed. He's not in the league anymore, but I was on the Chandler Hutchinson hype trade when the news came out that he was drafted.
Yeah, he was definitely had some hype. I feel like for me, I went for Marvin Bagley.
Oh yeah, how could you
This
not?
this one hurt me because anybody who knows Marvin Bagley was my favorite high school player at Sierra Canyon, bro. Different levels from Marvin, and even at Duke, bro. I almost wanted
Huh.
to get a Marvin Bagley Duke jersey.
Yeah.
Um, but Marvin Bagley was my favorite player, and then when he went second to the Kings, all right, let's do
Uh-huh.
it. Rookie year was actually pretty solid, and then it just went downhill from there.
Mm.
He just never developed into coming out. People are like, this could be like a no, like a Chris Bosh
Yeah.
or KG because of his athleticism. That just did not happen, bro.
Uh,
Just not at all. Injuries didn't help, but I think he could just never figure out his position. One and two, his defense was just terrible, bro. Just
yeah.
genuinely terrible.
Yeah, but surely the guy after him would be one of the best players in the NBA, right?
Oh man, I'm not mad because I was high on Luca. I thought Luca was the guy because I'm like, how did a dude who's 18 and just won the EuroLeague MVP not the consensus number one pick? But I guess when you have some 7-footer who's like 250 out of Arizona, who people thought was going to be the next David Robinson. I guess you can pick him number one and see what happens.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. I think the other guy who underachieved, bro, his song is more well known than him as a player. That should say enough on who I'm talking about. Mo Bamba, bro. Like,
that's crazy.
so crazy.
Yeah, nah,
But
talk
hey,
about aura. Shout
he
out
had
Sheck West. Sheck West
Shaq
might be a better
West.
hooper than he is, bro. Like,
Shaq West can hoop,
that's it.
bro.
That guy can get a bucket.
He can hoop, man. If y'all don't know, Shaq West can hoop, bro.
And so now we're gonna move to 2017, and I'm gonna cheat here because I'm not picking one player. I'm picking a tagline, and
Mhm.
my exceeded is the amount of elite defenders that came out of this draft. I did not know the next generation of defenders was gonna be here, but this
Mhm.
list is nuts. OG Anunoby, Derek White, Jared Allen, Dylan Brooks, Donovan Mitchell, Josh Hart, all these guys that could get. I know, yeah, I know. Donovan Mitchell's not known as a defender, but he can still defend. And those are all defenders that came out of this draft alone. Did not know the next generation of defense was all coming from the same draft. They were just like a crucial away from being the best defensive draft of all time.
Dang, I didn't realize all those dudes, but yeah, that's true. Like, three of those dudes are like all defensive players. Like, they've made
Yeah.
all defensive teams. That's crazy, actually. Wow.
Yeah, and Josh Hart, he's not there yet, but he's like the perimeter defender on New York. Jared Allen he should be an all NBA defensive player. Dylan Brooks can play all NBA defense. OG and Derek White should both all be all NBA defender players. Like it's just incredible all in one draft.
That is crazy. I went for Donovan Mitchell as my over. I feel like
Yeah.
that one was pretty easy. Obviously coming out, he was just seen as a guy who could be like a defensive guy. They didn't really see the whole scoring thing.
No.
But even coming out the gate as a rookie, averaging 20 points per game
Uh-huh.
and pretty much getting more and more as the years went on, like his scoring just kept getting better and better and better. Yeah, Donovan Mitchell, man, like I don't know what it is about dudes getting picked 13th, but they just Kobe, Zach Levine, I'm pretty sure. I just realized. Donovan Mitchell, and then there's one other dude. But yeah,
Never heard of him.
never heard of him. I'll tell you his name later, but never
Yeah.
heard of him. But yeah, Donovan Mitchell, man, that for sure
Yeah,
overachieved.
and Donovan Mitchell, he's a tiny guard too. Like there wasn't really a lot to look forward to with like a 6'1" defender, but apparently he can score a bucket
Ooh,
too.
I'm taller than Donovan Mitchell. That's crazy.
I'm not. I might be taller than Muggsy Bogues. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
and my disappointment. This is one of my biggest heartbreaks as an NBA fan because his bag was unreal at North Carolina State.
Oh my
You got to
God.
go Dennis Smith Jr. That man
Yeah.
could dunk anything he wanted to, and he was a fantastic at distributing the ball. Dennis Smith Jr. was supposed to be special in the NBA, like what we consider John Morant to be. Did
You
not happen.
literally that.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah, he was
gosh.
John Morant before John Morant. And that one just breaks my heart. His highlight reel was spectacular.
Oh my goodness, bro. Like his high school tape,
That's like a
bro.
top 10, top 15 high school tape of all
Oh
time,
my
man.
gosh. And then even that dunk he did against Duke when they did the upset, and he just brings it back here. Like, yo,
Man.
DSJ, bro. DSJ. Like I remember him from 2K. Because I've been playing 2K for a while. I remember 2K16, when I got to that second season and it was draft time, he was always the number one pick, bro. Because
Yeah.
no, it was him. Wait, no, yeah, different draft. He was always number one, bro. I was always like, give me Dennis Smith Jr. He's gonna be a
Mhm.
90 plus overall. He's literally just gonna be Westbrook, bro.
Yeah.
Um, but he was on my list of underachievers. My one, and this one probably hurts me more than Dennis Smith. Josh Jackson, bro. Josh Jackson, bro. Like, here's the thing, right?
I'm gonna cry, man. This
I'm gonna
this
give you
this draft was depressing.
like, bro, Josh Jackson. First off, I remember people were like, Jason Tatum or Josh Jackson. I'm like, Josh Jackson, what are y'all talking about? That aged poorly.
Uh-huh.
But for me, I thought Josh Jackson was literally gonna be Kawhi with his hair out. Nah, but like generally, I thought he was gonna be another one of those Jimmy Butler, Paul George dudes who like could kind of handle the ball,
Mhm.
play lockdown defense. I thought he was gonna be a lockdown defender, like raps.
Mhm.
And then after time, I feel like he could have developed the 3-point shot. Um, Safe to say he didn't develop those 3-point shots. His athleticism was there; that never disappeared, but never developed that 3-point shot. The defensively was decent, but he just was almost like an offensive liability.
Mhm.
Um, but again, I guess I use 2K again. in 2K17, when that draft came around, I always picked Josh. Shout out to my friend Kyle. He knows when we used to play 2K17, my league, you had to get Josh Jackson, bro. You
Yeah.
had to get him, bro. It was a must, bro.
Yeah. If Cam Reddish can be in the league, why can't Josh Jackson be in the league, man? Like that's heartbreaking stuff, man. Tears
Yeah,
my heart to
bro.
pieces.
Me
We're
too,
gonna move
man.
on before I get upset, even though this next draft's gonna make me a lot more upset. But we'll
Yeah,
get to the good side. Exceeded expectations was Pascal Siakam,
yeah.
and that's just because knew nothing about him. No one has ever turned down a New Mexico State basketball game in its eternity. So I had no idea what he was gonna do coming into the draft, and he helped the Rap. He was the second guy on a Raptors championship team, and now he's trying to do the same thing in Indiana. Deserves all the flowers, all the flowers.
Yeah. That one was an easy one. I picked a different guy because again, I figured you'd pick Pascal. I picked Malcolm Brogdon.
Good
Um,
shout.
he was a second round pick and one rookie of the year, and then has become like a really good player. Like at one point was like a 20-7 guy. Malcolm Brogdon's had a pretty good career, bro. Like I know he doesn't have a championship to his name, but he's been on some really good teams, the Bucks, the Celtics. Obviously he's on the Blazers now, but I thought he was gonna get traded under the trade deadline. I was
He
surprised
should
no
have.
team went after him, but I guess that's neither here nor there. But Malcolm Brogdon, I went for him only because I figured you pick Pascal.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It sounds like Portland just likes to gatekeep everybody. It's like, oh, if we're
I'm
not gonna
saying
succeed, no one else is succeeding. Like, nah, they're bogus. Screw Portland.
bogus, man.
And Everton, can you please go first on who your disappointment was?
Okay, I wrote three names down.
Uh,
I'm gonna just pick the
just
one
pick
that
one.
disappointed me the most,
Yeah.
Chris Dunn.
Dude, I'm starting to just realize you can't just draft these defending guards because I thought Davion Mitchell was gonna be special. Like, you just do not draft these guys in the lottery.
Bro, the thing is, I thought Chris Dunn. Oh man, this is gonna sound crazy. They thought Chris Dunn was gonna be like John Wall, bro. Like, mind you, this is 2016 John Wall.
Yeah.
Like, bro, Chris Dunn at what was it, Providence?
Mhm.
We're talking about a dude who had a crazy handle, great athleticism. He was a polished, like he was like a veteran in college, basically. Like he was like what 25 when he was getting, or not 25, like 22, 23
Yeah.
when he was getting drafted. Like he had seasons under his belt, everything. And I thought the bag was there. I'm like, again, this is back when we all assumed he's gonna develop a jump shot at some point, right? People don't do that anymore, but that used to be a really thing. Like, he'll develop a jump shot at some point. Don't worry about it. It'll come around. It didn't come around. It did not. Shout out to him for still being in the league,
Uh,
but
it
yeah,
was a fight, but he's still here.
he's still here. I'll give him that, but damn,
Yeah, and
who'd you
so
pick?
this is gonna be another example of Joey cheating and bending the rules because I said almost the entire lottery. Yeah, Ben Simmons, Dragon Bender, Chris Dunn, Marquise Chris. I can't even tell you who that is.
I know who that is.
Don
Yeah, Chris.
Maker was supposed to be he
He
was
was
supposed to
one of
be
the other
the
guys I wrote.
demigod. And
Yeah.
then Denzel Valentine's a Bulls fan. Lol. We won the summer league and we thought we were here,
Ooh.
and now he's a historic Bulls meme for Denzel Valentine
Ooh.
range.
No, not that
Yeah.
one. No.
So I said all those terrible names, but I have a hot take for disappointment.
Okay.
I thought Brandon Ingram was going to be Kevin Durant. So that's another name I
Oh.
thought about considering. He's been like an all-star once, so I can't like hate, but
Yeah.
I genuinely thought he was gonna be like a top 15-esque player just because he had all the similarities to Katie. So I didn't want to include him in that whole rant, but that's just another one I wanted to put out there because like Brandon Ingram, he's still a great player, but he
Yeah.
should have been the elite of the elite, and that did not happen. But again, I
I
can't put him in the same category as Dragon Bender and Marquise Chris.
no.
That would have been messed up.
No. So the other two names I put for mine was Dragon Bender and Thon Maker. I thought about Ben Simmons as being the number one pick, but I'm like, this is a dude who ended up being a multiple-time All-Star, runner-up in Defensive Player of the Year, and made some All-NBA and defensive teams. Like, he has some accolades to where I'm like, all right, I guess I'll kind of gloss over it. Now, again, at the end of the day, this dude was seen as supposed to be lefty, light-skinned LeBron, but all he ended up being was lefty and light-skinned. But I think Ben Simmons, the thing is, it's all about his mentality. Like
Uh,
he's a 6'10", 240-pound man with a 40-inch vert. How is he not a top player? It just
yeah,
doesn't make sense to me.
for
But
real.
I went Dragon Bender as well because honestly, Dragon Bender was picked because Kristaps was good. That's
Yeah.
literally why he ended up being the fourth pick in the draft. Because Kristaps Porzingis was a fourth pick the year before and he was good, they're like, you know what? Who says we can't do it too? You
Yeah.
can't do it too. You literally can't.
He
And then
set
Thon
foreign players
Maker,
back.
exactly, he did. Thon Maker, yo, KG said this dude could be an MVP of our league,
Yeah.
bro,
Dude, he was supposed to be, man. With
bro.
that length and being able to like dunk and play defense, he was supposed to be God.
He was. Remember how he's old, right? Remember
Yeah.
people didn't know how old he. Remember they were like, is he really only 20? They thought bro was like a 30-year-old faking his
Yeah.
age. That was crazy.
Yeah, but that did not work out at
No.
all. But you want to know what did work out is when you go to 2015 and we talk about these guys that happened to be picked at the 13th overall.
Mm-hmm.
Devin Booker, I had zero expectations for. He didn't get a lot of like play time or a lot of burn at Kentucky.
Yeah.
Like, he might be a shooter in the league, a nice guy you can bring off the bench, for a good championship team.
Yeah.
Little did you know he could be that guy in the championship
Mm.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah, very obvious pick here. These next two, I've probably won the most chalk I've ever gone in my life. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Devin Booker needs all the flowers.
Yeah. That's the 13th big guy I was talking about earlier, obviously. Devin Booker being 13th. Out of Kentucky, he was a bench player. Like,
Mm,
not to say like he didn't play at all, like he was like a six man or whatever. But I mean, granted, that Kentucky team in 2015, dirty, bro.
yeah,
They were so I remember people were like, could this team genuinely beat an NBA team?
no,
Crazy graphics were being made back then,
yeah,
guys. Trust me on that. But D Book, like he was a guy who I was like, okay, he looks like he can shoot the ball. That's all I thought he'd do in the league. I thought he'd just be a solid shooter in the league.
mm,
Little did I know this dude would end up being with one of the deepest bags. Like watching D Book hoop, the mid-range pull-up, the three-point, everything, bro. Deep, very deep bag. Chef's kiss. And his form,
it's beautiful.
chef's kiss. And he's become the best, arguably the best at his position.
Yeah, I agree. He
Arguably.
he he still won at times. Nothing against him. It's either one or two.
Right? Arguably the best at his position. Shout out to Devin Booker, man.
Shout out to Devin Booker indeed. And Everton, this is the last time I'm bending the rules today, I promise.
Yeah.
But for my disappointment, I said
Oh, wait, you
any.
know what?
Oh, wait, wait,
Before you
wait.
say
Oh,
it,
my bad, my bad.
before you say it, I thought you were gonna say one more overachiever.
Oh, no, my
We got to
fault.
give Chris Stats his love too.
Yeah,
We're
I've
talking
never seen
about
a more
it.
hated draft pick in my lifetime.
Oh my goodness, bro! I watched that draft. Who the is Tingus Pingus? Like, I remember that. I remember literally watching the screen and seeing a Knicks fan. This little boy is legit crying because they picked Porzingis. I'm like, damn, like he's supposed to be this bad, and him becoming a Knicks. Like they loved Kristaps before he got traded.
Yeah.
Um, but actually, if you ever get a chance, there's JJ Redick interviewed him and asked him about it, and he's seen everything. He's seen the memes. He's seen all that about the Tingus Pingus, and he was like, they told me before, like, hey, be prepared to get booed. Like they're probably gonna boo you. So I guess he was already ready for it.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I think he deserves his love there too.
Yeah, absolutely. And like to talk about this Boston team, like they're the best team in the NBA right now. But when he's not on the court, they are not the best team in the NBA. Like he's
Mm,
the X factor for a team that might win a championship. Porzingis been fantastic. It survived the hate, and I'm happy for him.
mm-hmm.
But again, as I said, last time I'm gonna bend the rules here. But the disappointments were anybody that played in the March Madness finals that season. Yeah, because all these guys I had expectations for. Jahlil Okafor, Justice Winslow, Frank Kaminsky, and Sam Decker. All I thought were guys that were going to be hoopers in the NBA. None of them hooped. Not, not a single one hooped. And like, I think what I feel bad for Jahlil Okafor and Frank Kaminsky is like right at this time is when the NBA started to bridge on for like what their traditional center used to be. They were just wrong place, wrong time. Like if it was like 5 to 10 years before, they would have been. I still think they would have been incredible in the NBA.
Mm.
But just the game changed up on them on the worst time, and they just were not able to adapt. So those guys fell off. Justice Winslow was supposed to be spectacular, was not, and Sam Decker is known for falling on a layup attempt. That
Oh
that
my
that
god.
is their guys. That's their guys' NBA legacies.
Oh man. So I had
Oh
Jahlil Okafor. Oh
yeah,
no, go
okay,
ahead.
no.
Yeah.
So I just ran on Sam Decker because like I hate
Hmm.
racism, but like dude, he hates John Moran. He lets his intentions known on Twitter.
Wait, for real? How have I
Yeah.
never seen this?
Yeah, he's like when they dance on the floor, it's like, oh, they would allow me to do this back in the NBA, things like this. Like I never raised my family to do this.
Brother, you were drafted like 4 years before.
Yeah.
What?
Oh,
Okay,
no,
that's
and that was
crazy.
about he did that for Kai Jones as well. When Kai Jones, was like rapping and all, he's like, "Oh, this shouldn't be allowed in the NBA. This is disgusting."
Y'all know? Do you know where Sam Decker is from? Do you know?
Yeah,
Any idea? Like where he
somewhere in
grew up?
Wisconsin. Yeah,
Ah,
should have
okay.
known. Yeah.
Um, so I went for Jaleel Okafor.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm Chicago. Jaleel Okafor at was it Whitney Young?
Yeah.
Bro, really good.
Mm.
And then at Duke, I'm talking about when you talk about post work bags, post work bag was crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Like Jaleel Okafor had every post move, and I feel like he would have been so good if he got drafted years before. Like you said, if he would have drafted years before, I think he would have been a really good player. Because even his rookie year, I know the Sixers were legit terrible, but dude averaged like 17 and 7, you
Mm.
know? So I think he just was in the wrong era. Another guy I picked, Emmanuel Mudiay, bro.
Ah.
Emmanuel Mudiay, bro. Like, I remember this guy, people saying, yo, this dude could be like a 6'6". He kind of was like seen as like a De'Aaron Fox before De'Aaron Fox kind of
Mm.
thing, right? With his speed, athleticism, and size. They thought that would be, they knew he couldn't shoot. But they figured, all right, he'll develop it after time, right? At some point, he'll become a good shooter.
Uh-huh.
Didn't happen. Moutier lasted a decent amount of time in the league, but just never really panned out.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest one for me is Justice Winslow. Now, why I say that, right? He only got picked 10th. For people who don't know, I think it was the Boston Celtics. The Celtics were trying to trade up with the Hornets or something like that. They were willing to give up like 5 first-round picks to trade up just to draft Justice Winslow.
Mhm.
Now, those picks, I'm pretty sure, were Brooklyn Nets picks.
Oh my
Imagine
God.
a world where the Celtics make that trade or the trade goes through. Keep in mind, the Hornets literally said, nah, we're not going to make the trade just to draft Frank Kaminsky, right? So keep in mind, they if they trade those picks, we're talking about no Jalen Brown, no Jason Tatum.
Mhm.
That's enough right there, honestly. Like I don't even have to go any further with that.
Uh,
But all in all, Justice Winslow was seen as this dude who could end up being like a Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard, one of those wings, you know. And he has some solid moments, but it just never really worked out.
yeah, dude. And I just remembered like this when I was first getting drafted. People were pissed when he was falling. Like,
Yeah,
dude, why is he not in the top 5? What's he doing available at 10? People were fuming. Like he's supposed to be the
fuming.
guy. The
Hmm.
NBA knew. They knew.
They knew exactly. I'm saying they knew he was not top 5 worthy, bro.
Yeah. But one what the NBA didn't know,
Or did they
and
not know,
and
man?
this is the most obvious riser in NBA history. During a Taco Bell ad in the second round, Nikola Jokic was drafted to the Denver Nuggets. We know, like, we want to say different players show their love. There's no one else to show love here. Nikola Jokic was the best draft rise of all time. Probably had negative expectations. I don't even think it was at 0. Just no one thought a thing would happen. And
Yeah.
before you know it, arguably the best player in the NBA made history.
That one was the easiest pick,
Yeah.
easily. I honestly I was like, I'm gonna just leave it as Jokic because him being drafted during Taco Bell commercial will never like be not be funny. Like
Yeah.
we're talking about a dude who honestly at the end of his career could become one of the 5 best centers ever. Lily was drafted during a Taco Bell commercial. That is so crazy. But this is the most obvious one. I'm not even gonna try to think of somebody else. It's obviously Jokic, bro. Like there's nothing else you could do
And
about
like
it.
I didn't watch much tape, but there wasn't like a single positive thing to look forward to. Like he had a dad bod, wasn't strong, wasn't that good of a scorer, couldn't defend. It's like, oh, this isn't just your average second round pick.
Yeah.
Little did we know that the best player in the NBA would be picked during a Taco Bell commercial.
Crazy scenes, bro. Insane scenes.
And then my biggest disappointment, maybe in the history of being a Joey LeMaster fan, Chicago Bulls, they trade to get this guy named Doug McDermott,
Ooh.
who was so flashy at Creighton. I thought life was gonna change. I thought we had our guy who could shoot. And he had ore, like he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. He was the guy of college basketball. And I was in love. Still on the NBA, but was never but never was close to an all-star caliber type of player. And I thought he was gonna be the face of Chicago Bulls basketball. And nope. Mm-mm.
No, did not happen.
No.
Oh man, Dougie McBuckets, bro. At Creighton, he was a bucket, bro.
Yeah.
Legit a bucket. And the
Like, dude,
Bulls even traded up for him.
like he was getting
Like
Larry Bird comparisons. Like that's what we thought
legit,
Doug McDermott was gonna be.
legit, bro. Like And keep in mind, the Bulls traded Gary Harris and Yusuf Nurkic for Doug McDermott. Tough when you look back, but I know that was more of a personal Bulls pick.
Mm.
So I did this because
I
there's
think I know what's going to be said.
so I actually wrote down Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah. You can't.
Okay, let me tell you something, bro. I didn't want to write his name down because at the end of the day, he was a second best player on a championship team, and he made an all-star team.
Starter.
You're right.
Shouldn't have been, but he started.
He started. I can't even hate, but we're talking about a dude. If y'all weren't around at that time, this dude was legit getting Kobe Bron comparisons, bro. Like
Yeah.
this dude was because I mean, hey, if you know ball, Wiggins had like a 46-inch vert. Like he had a crazy bounce. You know, like we thought he had a high motor, but that was not true. But Wiggins had legit T-Mac, Kobe, Bron comparisons. Like this was supposed to be the guy. Like this was supposed to be the face of the league moving forward, and just never really happened. Now the other one would be Jabari Parker, but I don't want to hold that against him. I don't want to hold that against him because of the injuries. Because when he was on the court, he was great, but it's just he could not stay on the court. So I'll say I was disappointed how much he wasn't able to be on the court, but I'm not gonna kill him for that, you know.
But dude, those Wiggins Jabari Parker debates back in the day, they were supposed to be the face of the NBA, man. That was supposed to be our battles of who are the star players now.
Like,
but dude, Jabari, man. Oh man, Jabari at Duke was special.
Special, bro. Like, y'all think about like this. Maybe not to the same degree, but the Wemby Chet conversation, this was Wemby Chet before Wemby Chet, bro. Like,
no, actually.
Legit, bro. Like these two, yo. And then I guess another underrated name is Marcus Smart. I say that because no, trust me. Marcus Smart coming out of Oklahoma State. They thought he was gonna be like D Wade, bro. I'm not even joking. They were comparing him to Dwayne Wade.
They were fooled.
Very much fooled.
Yeah. And I still like Marcus Smart. It's just I never thought he had like the offensive bag like that. It's just he was just a defensive dog who was like fighting fans and everything. It was fun to watch back in the day.
He pushed that fan. Oh my gosh, that was hilarious.
Yeah, so I never saw the D Wade comparisons, but so that's gonna be the NBA, our disappointments and our loves. Thank you so much for tuning into this segment of the 5 Out Podcast. I am Joey, the LeMaster, and me and Everton are so thankful for your guys' support. If you want to keep supporting us, please check out the full podcast on Spotify and follow our TikTok account. Both of those will be in the bio, and make sure to leave a like and stay smooth.